WA3MJY. I'll give you a 1 done, too.
Okay, Rick, thanks for checking in this morning. Yeah, your signal's 100%. But again, the propagation's limiting in some of the stations. Okay, any other check-ins, please call now.
KK4GZQ Whiskey K0VUW. Good morning.
K0VUW. Anyone else? Okay, KK4 GZQ. All right, thanks, Perry. So the Kilowatt Zulu Victor United Whiskey, make a transmission and pass it back to N1SNG.
Okay, Glenn, very good morning to you and the rest of the group. Call's just 5 letters, K0, Victor United Whiskey, Gary in Wildwood, Missouri, where everyone's coming in very well. I won't stay on real long here this morning early. I've got a bunch of grandkids sleeping all over the rec room here. So I'm going to wake them up talking too loud. But I just wanted to get in there and let everybody know they're making it out west of the Mississippi pretty good. So on the BC 610 Charlie, SX28, and there you got it. So hope you guys are off to a good weekend. N1 NSG, Kilowatt Zero, Victor United Whiskey. Thanks for being there.
Yeah, thanks for checking in, Gary. Let's try getting it over to Kevin. KK4 GZQ, pick it up. This is N1SNG.
Okay, Glenn. Fine business. N1SNG with the old military radio net from KK4 GZQ. Good morning to all of you. Perry, thanks for getting me in there. And Glenn, thanks for running the net this morning. And I've heard Frank a little earlier, Charlie. Seems like I heard John. Good morning, John, Charlie, Frank, who else? Anyway, Glenn, just getting up here this morning. I thought I would fire up the BC 610 here this morning with the 614 speech amp D104. And I'm listening to you guys on a Stuart Warner R392. And Glenn, you're almost 100% in here, just taking a couple of dips every now and then that I can't hear you, but otherwise we're a really good copy. Anyway, 31 degrees here currently. We're headed up to the high 50s today, maybe around 60. We're lucky, and sunshine. So I'm back at the salty mine today, if you will. So back at work. Anyway, I'll keep it moving here and send it back to you, Glenn. Just wanted to get in here for the numbers and say hello to everybody, but the band doesn't sound really good. N1SNG with the old military radio net from KK4 GZQ. Good morning.
Yeah, okay, Kevin. KK4 GZQ, N1SNG. So thanks for checking in. Nice signal into Rhode Island, actually. So no problems at all copying you. So very good on that there. Hopefully this will continue. Alrighty. Anyway, I'll do another call up and then we'll go back to the top of the list here. Any other check-ins for the old military radio net? Please call now.
Whiskey Baker 8, Delta Mike X-ray.
All right, I had a Delta Mike X-ray. I think that's Kevin. Oh, he's already on the list here, so anyway, Frank, why don't you pick it up, pass it over to Bill, WA4DDH, and then it goes over to WB8DMX, Kevin, and WB3RHR, W4HWT, KD3HT, KN4R, TB3RHR, W3 MMR, and WA3 Mike Juliet Yankee. Actually, he's checked out. All right, we'll take him off the list here. And then over to Kevin, KK4GZQ. Okay, up to you, Frank. W2 SDR, N1SNG.
Okay, Glenn, N1SNG in the group. W2 SDR, yeah. All you have to do, it's easy with the order, Joe. All you have to do is remember one thing. It's just who you turn it to. One person. That's all. And no matter how many people check in, just jot down who you turn it to. Yeah, W2 SDR, the old military radio net. This will be my final transmission here. Just so some of you guys know, Perry and I have been getting on 160 just about every morning for about a half an hour or so on 1858 plus or minus a bit. And I think you mentioned, you heard us, I should have broken in. If you have a sideband transmitter, Glenn, I don't think I've ever worked you on single sideband, but anybody else that's can operate on single sideband, come and join us in the mornings, especially this time of year where it's quiet, storm static wise, pretty much. And the conditions have been very, very good. So I'll say good morning to you, Kevin. Beautiful signal up this way. Gary, it's been a while since we've worked. K0VUW. And good morning also to Perry. So Craig, good signal here. Brian, of course. Steve, very nice, and John, of course, and the other guys that have been in here for a while. So 7-3 all the way around, and guys have a great weekend for sure. WA4DDH in the old military radio net. This is W2SDR 7-3.
Everybody is really coming in here nice. Good morning, Terry, Kevin, Rick, Gary, Brian. Good to hear you, John. Hearing you, Kevin, Glenn, and Charlie. I'm even hearing Charlie. I'm going to make this one my last one too here, guys. Good to hear everybody on here this morning. I'm counting about 14 people on since about 4:30 or so, so it's a good mix. The districts are great here. The band is long and it's very quiet. If Frank, if you're listening, I'll try to get on 160. I love 160, but I have to wait till the dead of winter before I can get on. But we'll kind of look for you on 160. We'll swing up that way. So with that, gentlemen, I'm going to say 7-3. I was turning into Charlie, but I think you told me to turn it to Kevin there. So with that, I'll turn it to WB8EMS if you're hearing me there, Kevin, and we'll say good morning to all. This is WA4, Delta Delta Hotel, the voice of Darwin. Good morning, all.
WB8 DMX. Go ahead, Kevin. WB3RHR, Craig. Morning to you. Go ahead.
You're okay, Glenn. It's KB3RHR, but that's okay. It's early, and you're retired. So, understand. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. Congratulations. Something I don't think my generation is going to get to do, so, and we like to hear your stories. How hard it is to retire as far as how much work that you have to do now. It's probably easier just to go to work. So maybe that's why we'll just continue to work, Clint. Anyways, good to hear mostly everybody this morning. Not too bad of conditions, I guess. Still a little bit of QSB here and there, but all in all, not too bad this morning. Just loafing around and not much going on today, but it is going to be a nice day here. It's still cold. We're in the mid to
mid to upper 20s. So here in the morning. So and not much you can do until later in the afternoon as far as getting outside. But beautiful week so far this week. Cold, but typical Chamber of Commerce stuff. So good to be around and enjoy the fall here before everything else starts. But anyways, you know what, Glenn? I've got so messed up on rotation. I'm going to turn it back to you so I don't make a mistake. But great to hear everybody here this morning. I'm on the Barker and Williams T368 and the SP600 combo here this morning. So here comes Glenn. N1 SNG and the old military radio net, KB3RHR Pittsburgh.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Yeah, T368 is putting on a beautiful signal this morning. Okay, John, W4, HWT. Over to you.
Okay, Glenn, N1 SNG and the old military radio net. This is John, W4HWT at Snow Camp returning. Yeah, I didn't copy K3, KB3, RHR, RHR too well. I could hear him in there, but I was really surprised that your signal's banging in pretty good here, Glenn. And I believe right now it looks like that Frank had the strongest signal this morning, but everybody else is right on up there pretty well, especially the earlier check-ins. And okay, Brian, on the no, there's no snow in Snow Camp this morning, but it looked like snow yesterday morning. We had a very, very heavy frost here, and we were about 29, something like that degree officially. I think our thermometer said 32. And we're about 34 here this morning, so I imagine we got another frost here this morning if it's not cloudy. And okay, on everybody being at the Stone Mountain Ham Fest, I didn't realize there's one down there. I don't keep up with the Ham Fest that well. I wonder if you're thinking about coming down to the Benson Ham Fest down in Benson, North Carolina, coming up somewhere about I might have it wrong, somewhere along about the 21st of this month. Not too many days away. It's not a big ham fest, but it's pretty good size. Sometimes if the weather's nice, it can be pretty good, especially on the outside. And it's always crowded on the inside. I don't know whether I'll go in the inside or not because of the COVID stuff, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Planning on going if nothing pops up in the way there. But didn't know whether you'd be there. I'm sure Brown will be there. That's kind of almost in his backyard, really. Maybe he's about as far away as I am. I think it's about 75 miles from here one way. Not too far. About 50 miles to Raleigh, another 20 down I-40 to Benson. Anyway, I won't keep it here. Copying everybody pretty well. And Steve, KD3HT, good to hear you on. And I hope everything's going to suit you up there. I know one time you had a Halifax transmitter. I forgot what it was. Had a rotary inductor and a capacitor, tuning capacitor, and the final network gang together. It's kind of not a real old design, but I remember seeing pictures of it. I wonder if you ever got that running there. I remember those transmitters when I was first in mind. Everybody kind of jumped on those things, but I never seen one in a ham fest or anywhere. Yeah, KD3HT to take it. W4HWT standing by. Over.
You okay, John? Fine business, and good morning to the other guys. Jumped in there. Kevin, sounded good here. And yeah, John, the HT20 still sitting here next to me. I just got to feel like digging in. It's been sitting on this. It's sitting on a drum phone right next to me. And I'm actually tired of looking at it that way, but really don't have any other room to put it anywhere to work on it. So, yeah, it's the same old story here. Keeps moving stuff around, trying to get to this or get to that. And yeah, it's only a 100-watt radio, so you don't expect much out of it. And we'll get it going one of these days. Yeah, Brian, I saw the pictures of the TDE and the 610. And yeah, I wasn't sure it was a TDE at first, and well, that's what I first said, but I wasn't sure, and I don't know, seeing pictures of them online, they look a little different. But there's you can really look at the turns counters and dials on that thing, and it speaks out. I'm gonna look up what its final is again, but I think it needs power supply there, so I know that those were like a two-piece thing and they sat on a power supply. But I guess it's let's see what the difference is between it and the TCK. I have a TCK here, and when I got it, it was had a conglomeration of power supplies of all different sizes connected to it to provide all the bias voltages and things of that nature. I didn't put that back together because it was one of those things where, I don't know, people trust lamp cord a little bit more than I do for running high voltage and such. Oh, yeah, the temperature here, Craig, is a little bit warmer than you. We're at 23, and we've had a couple of hard frosts this week, but I think this has been the first week of frost here this year, which is very unusual for us to get to November without any frost. But a couple of real hard frosts, you know, windshield covered type thing during the week. But next week it's supposed to get up to 60 here, but overnight temperatures I'm sure will still drop down. But now it's beautiful out. The leaves are pretty much at peak or a little bit past peak, and yeah, just moving forward one day at a time, and trying to enjoy what we can out of each day. So I've lost track of who I KD3HT. Over?
Yeah, KD3HT and 1SNG. Yeah, just about lost you on that. You got a nice signal when you first started transmitting, but it started to fade away there. But anyway, band's changing around, I guess. And good on the 60-degree temperatures. Yeah, we'll take that up here. It's been beautiful weather here for working out in the yard. You know, just nice and cool, sunshine. So taking advantage of that there. Still a lot of leaves on the trees. So I think it's going to snow and they're going to fall off. Just leave them there. But anyway, get it right over to Brian. KN4R and 1SNG.
Okay, Glenn, very good. N1SNG in the old military radio net. This is KN4R. Brian in Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, returning. Very good. Well, 73's Frank and Bill and Charlie, and let's see, one or two other fellows. But anyway, copying everybody just fine here. And Glenn, you were down on your last transmission a little bit, still 100% copyable, but the transmission before, you were just booming in here. So anyway, and John, very good on everything, and Craig. The B&W T368 sounds great down here, and you know, as far as retirement goes, Craig, I would just continue to work as long as you can. You don't want to start your slow decline too early, okay? So, but anyway, at least you have a nice hobby to spend indoors when it's nippy, you know. So, and John, very good on snow camp being frost camp now, so I'm sure you've got the remote fireplace fired up there. And Roger on the Benson, North Carolina Ham Fest on Sunday, November 21st. I'm going to make the trek unless it's raining or something like that. I like that Ham Fest, and I wonder if you go to the Liberty Antique Festival. That was happening, you know, a few weeks ago, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, and my wife and I intended to come over there for that, but we got sidetracked and by grandkids or something, and
ended up not coming, but I would think an antique radio or two pops up from time to time. And Steve, very good on the HT20. Can't wait to hear that. And listen, I'm on the Globe Champion 350 here this morning, putting out a little over 200 watts, and listening on a nice vintage black HRO here, and having a good time, and just finished my first cup of coffee. So let's see. And Kevin, you're Kevin KK4GZQ. You're a bit weak here on the last transmission, which is absolutely not like you. But I'm hoping that your signals come way up. Next time, I want to hear how your Florida trip went recently. So, by the way, the Brown, the BC610i, and I believe it is a TDE, but I'm no expert on that. They were going to be thrown away. They were going to be dumpstered unless somebody stepped up and said they'd take them. So you know how Brown is. He likes to volunteer. So that's the story. It'll be interesting to see what kind of condition they're truly in. So I believe I pass it to Perry. So here it comes, Perry. W3MMR in the group. KN4R.
KN4R in the old military radio net. W3MMR. All right. Big net here this morning. Good morning to everyone. Trying to let me pull up. Trying to get the list here so I can say hello to everyone. Good morning to Bill, WA4DDH. Good signal out of the Ranger down yonder this morning. Bill, great to hear you if you're still around. Always a pleasure, man. Good morning to Kevin, WB8DMX, out in the western reaches of the AM universe. Out in Ohio. Good morning to you, Kevin. Good morning to Charlie, if you're still listening within earshot. XZW, haven't heard you, but I knew you were in there, so good morning to you, Chuck. Good morning to John, W4HWT. John, you always got a great signal up here. Good morning, Steve. KD3HT, my neighbor to the north, fellow Pennsyltuckian. Good morning to you, man. What else we got here? Obviously, good morning to you, Brian, KN4R. Good morning to Brown. Oh, no, Brown's not in there this morning. That's the second time I've said that. He's been mentioned, but he's with us in spirit. And Craig, good morning again. Boy, we got 29 degrees. Excuse me. Gosh, 30 degrees here this morning. I'm sure it's 20s somewhere close to here. Chilly morning. Fall and winter is upon us. I think it's going to be one of those years where we don't have much of a fall, because it seemed like it was 85 degrees 2 weeks ago. And you know, we're probably going to it's going to be winter and snowing probably in 2 weeks, so I don't think we're going to see much of a fall this year. Well, fingers crossed it doesn't snow in 2 weeks, but you guys know our luck. Anyway, man, one more day of work this week. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to my day off tomorrow. And not too many radio projects on the horizon. I picked up a Turner 500 dynamic microphone, or an S500 with the switch, but I don't have the switch on mine. Cool looking, like Art Deco, like a polished aluminum stage microphone, man. Really, really cool looking. So if you guys want to just are on Google, look up Turner 500 microphone. Hard to find. I got it for $20 on QRZ, man. A guy was selling it. He's like, I'm just trying to get rid of it, man. I was like, I'll buy it. If it doesn't work, it's cool looking, and it works great. I just don't have a mic clip yet for it. Anyway, that's really all that's on the radio front here. Good morning to you, Dad, if you're still in there. Pop. Anyway, we'll keep it moving. I'll be in here for the remainder, Glenn. I'm not doing nothing. I'm still here. So, up to you, Glenn. That's who I sent it to last time, and I will pay attention to who you send it to, so then I can send it to them next time. And one SNG in the old Millwright Net W3MMR. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, okay, Perry, very good. Yeah, they're good on that Turner 500. That sounds. I gotta look that up. It sounds cool. Yeah, they made some stylish microphones, for sure. Lucky you found that one there. So we're gonna get it over to K0. BUW Gary, and then it goes over to KK4GZQ. So Gary, pick it up.
You out there, Gary?
BUW, are you still there?
Who you turning it to?
Over to you, Gary. K0, BUW to take it.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. I was getting a cup of coffee and I'm on headphones since I got the grandkids here. And I'm not talking very loud, so I hope my signal's making it somewhere. Anyway, great to hear all you fellas. Sounds like things are good. And, okay, on the retirement, I think the big secret's to keep real active. Get a lot of projects. You know, you can work on your own stuff just as easily as you can at work. Just create a lot of projects. I've got one that I've been working on here the last 15 years. Was doing a P-51. It's a about 87% scale, and I've had some interruptions with it due to health issues. But I keep going back at it. The hardest part now I have is in the cockpit. I have all my made all my switch panels and all that kind of stuff. It's getting them mounted. You know, the cockpit full-size Mustang is only 24 inches wide, and you've got to get in there and be upside down under the panel. And the older I get, the harder it is to bend in the pretzel positions very high. But it's great. You get to do a lot of things that you've always dreamt about doing. The economy, you know, fixed income is what inflation kills. So with current economic conditions, not real conducive. So other than that, anyway, let me get back here to
Silence. I think it goes to you, Kev.
Okay, Perry. I didn't copy Gary at all on that transmission W3MMR N1SNG and the old military radio net from KK4GZQ. And boy, I heard everybody, I think, but Gary check in, and I don't know if he's listening on any of the SDRs, but good morning over in Wildwood, Gary. Normally he's just strong as strong gets over here. And Bill, I heard you down in South Carolina. Good morning, Steve, up in PA. Morning, Steve. Sounding good down here. Brian, WK4R. I didn't hear Kevin. I think that was WB8DMX over in Columbus, and I heard a little of Craig earlier, I believe, but not on that last one. And of course I've got Gary here. So Perry, you're actually right now you're about the strongest station I'm hearing down here. So the band's kind of lopsided, and Glenn's got some pretty rapid QSB going on his signal. So anyway, I'll keep it moving, and I'll just stick in here to listen around. And Glenn, Perry, I'm gonna send it back to you and hand it where it goes. I think it goes on back to Glenn. W3MMR with the old military radio net. Good to be here with all of you nonetheless. KK4GZQ.
Yeah, I'm terrible at this. Up to you, Glenn. Oh no. I don't know who transmitted there, but there was no audio.
There's no joy down here.
Yeah, still no audio, Glenn. I'll pick it up here. Good morning, Jeep. I heard you. Trying to think. I don't have the whole list here. I could just send it to the next person. Jeep, pick it up. And then send it back to me. Maybe Glenn will have his issue fixed there when by the time you get done your transmission. K3HVGW3MMR in the old mill RadNet.
Yeah, Glenn.
Contact.
Whiskey Baker 8, Delta Mike X-ray. It must be bad band condition out there. I'm not hearing everybody out there.
W4SVA.
Yeah, Glenn, did you get Kevin WBA DMX? He's still in there. I didn't know if you heard him.
I have it on the list there. I have him on the list. Yeah, he's right. He said WCJ.
KB8 MDF.
I've got a relay for you, Glenn.
W4WCJ is there in Hardyville, and I believe that's South Carolina. Georgia. Can you go ahead and pick it up? KK4GZQ at the net.
I say good morning. You have a bad condition. It was really on the goofy side this morning here on the MC3 on the receiver. Well, right now it's 30 degrees here, guys. Great day in the morning. We got a little while.
Sorry about that, Glenn. I guess he's not hearing me. I'll send it back to net control. Sorry about that. M1SNG KK4GZQ in the net.
I'll call this one and done this morning because you got a big list out there, and I thought I had went to sleep and missed you guys and stuff like that, but that's poor band condition for me here. All the rest of the guys here for sure. 73 MMR in the group, and rest of you guys take care and good morning here on the Viking 2. WBH DMX here in Columbus, Ohio. Back over to y'all.
Glenn and the rest of the gang enjoyed hearing you check in.
Hold on.
W4WCJ, KK4GZQ in the net. Back to you, Glenn. Over.
All right, let's everybody hold on a second. Everybody stand by. That was like a quadruple. Go ahead, Glenn.
Okay, I've had it a couple of times here, Glenn, so I'm just making sure and get it over to Jeep. And good morning again to the whole net, and hello to Paul down in Hardyville, I believe. And good signal up here. And I'm sorry about the quadruple. I'm like you guys, I'm not hearing everybody either. So I think that makes for kind of a mess here this morning, but we're trying as hard as we can. Anyway, going to be out of here on this transmission. I'm going to sit back and listen, and good to be a part of the net this morning. Wanted to say hello to Jeep and hello to Paul, and Other than that Jeep, I'll send it your way. K3HVG with the old military radio net from KK4GZQ73. And so long.
All righty, Kevin. Nice signal up there into Fredericksburg. KK4GZQ and the old military radio net. K3HVG. We'll be copied, Glenn, copy Hero Robin here. The real strong ones, I guess, is Kevin, BMX, the BMX. John, I wasn't able to copy John. I really remember that that's it. He's Hero Robin here. Brian also, Jeffrey, I knew that was just copy. Paul down in the Hardyville was a good signal, too. Just a couple of news items. We visited Ted yesterday for a couple of hours up in he's doing pretty good. I did get a little bit of feedback from him. He's shooting 750 short range machine for me. And given the expense, I was concerned that it wasn't doing that good at his location, but apparently his son-in-law and down the building, a one-story building. My Saturday morning fog, So he is able to hear some things. He didn't like having a multi-band, double it up at 60 feet, but I guess it's better than nothing. And I told him, I placed her all on my phone. I can phone patch him into the net. We still have an archaic phone patch set up here as a holdover from the military operations here, but that's the deal on that. So one of these mornings, maybe we'll be able to hear Ted. And Steve, congratulations on the HT20. I had one in 1959. It was very nice, and of course in '59 they weren't that old. And 4D32 in the final, so just about 100 watts, as you say. No VFO. I had to use I think it was a Viking 122 VFO I had with it. And a nice radio. I've still got some parts. I bought a real junker from a guy, one of the ambulance chasers down here, and so I've got the front panel multimeter, and I think I've got some nerves. I took everything out of it. I believe I still have it. And I think I identified what's what to include, I believe, the modulation transformer. But anyway, that's the deal on that. So I looked for one for 20 years, and probably a better thing that I didn't find one. They're very heavy. So that's the deal on there. Paul down to Hardyville, WB4WCJ, and the old military radio, and that K3HVG. Go ahead.
Okay, rail from WB4WCJ, Paul, Hardyville, South Carolina, just north of Savannah, Georgia. Let's see, operating much less than deal here as usual, and have a partial failure of the AM in the IC755 here. Partial failure, but I got some parts in here I may be able to repair it. So that's the story on that. A lot of QSB. I'd like to thank GZQ for helping get me in here. So I know everyone around has heard my call, and certainly glad to check in here. I think I didn't catch who to turn to. It was W4SB, but I'll turn it to M1SNG. I think it's M1SNG. WB4WCJ. Paul Hardyville. Over.
SNG and the old military radio net, W4SVA. Good morning to everyone on the net. Not quite sure who's in here yet. I just started listening a few minutes ago. Good signal from Paul in South Carolina. Don't believe we work, so good to meet you. And name here is Chris, located in Moscow, Virginia. Seems like conditions are kind of okay here today. Having a little trouble here in Kevin, Kentucky. And it seems like the further out stations are going pretty well. And surprisingly, the close-in stations are going well, but there's kind of an in-between area that's a little gray right now. Got 25 degrees here this morning and still dropping. I don't know where this is going to stop when the sun comes up. Maybe we'll hit 22. Had quite a few heavy frosts here this week. Went straight from summer to winter. Anyway, I'll send it back to Glenn, I guess, and sit back and listen and see who else is in here. N1SNG and the old military radio net, W4SVA. Penny Zero Sugar Fox.
That's for sure. Heard Chris okay. Morning, Chris. And Kevin and many of the others, if not everybody. So we're cheating here a bit on SDR. That's okay. So on the usual stuff, the Times 20V3. Trying to listen on a national HLO 60, but probably doing more on the laptop PC. And antenna for 2 elements, inverted V, point east, 100 feet up, APAP, 60 feet apart elements. The east element is fed with wire line on pretty nice morning here, mid-40s, and it should get over 60 today. And that, I think, is going to be it for weekends. After this, I think midweek, in fact, we've got snow coming, at least freezing rain. So, it wouldn't be too early. I'd say we're a little overdue for the nasty cold stuff. Anyways, but we're going to enjoy this weekend. We might even get the and again, that would probably be the last one. I'm looking through the week, and I don't really see that. Some guys, they play sensational. I'm not really seeing this big interest. There it is. Okay. Looks like it's Friday, a week from now. Okay. Maybe we get one more week here yet. N1SNG K0SF, over.
Kilo Bravo number 8, Mike Delta Foxtrot. Yes, sir, good morning. Been listening here for a long time. Haven't tried to see if I can get across the way here, but if it's working this morning, that's good.
I won't hold it. Thanks for letting me in. You guys always sound interesting. There's always something good to listen to. I usually make the Midwest nets over here, and I've been doing it on Saturday mornings. I'm usually on the nets on Sunday morning too. It gives me something to do in the weekends, is play some radio and exercise the gear. Running Collins 32 V3 transmitter, 75 A83 receiver to a inverted V, multi-beam dipole at about 50 feet, 55 feet in the center, oriented north and south. Thanks for letting me in. Hope everybody has a good day. Should be a nice weekend this weekend. Supposed to warm up a little bit and get some stuff done outside before winter hits. Okay, V8MDF, back to net.
You okay, Glenn? Hearing almost everybody here this morning as conditions change in and out, but I'm glad I could be here drinking coffee. And yeah, just still a little that solar activity left here that's making the bands just a little crazy. But all in all, you're boiling in here in Pennsylvania. So great to be part of the net this morning here as I wake up and try to get it together. But good to hear you guys, and I'm going to check out on this one. It's already 6 a.m. here, and this is tonight's the time change, guys. So don't forget about that. So it'll be interesting, how propagation and time changes. So we'll see what happens next week. Anyways, Glenn, thanks for doing it, and we'll get it on to W4HWT from KB3RHR and the old military radio net. Thanks, guys. 7-3.
Okay, Glenn, N1SNG and the old military radio net, John, W4HWT returning. I didn't copy Jeep at all. I hate I didn't get to hear Bud Jeep, maybe a report on Ted there. I hate I missed that, but, and Glenn, you're dropped down the soup, and the RHR station, I couldn't hear him at all. Could barely tell he was in there, so things are kind of starting to shift on this end, so we'll keep it kind of short here, and okay. Brian, yeah, our frost was one big heavy one, the first one we had this season, and no light frost before. If it was, I never saw it anywhere. I kind of kept looking when it was down in the low 40s that I might see a little trace on the house roof or something like that, but didn't see anything. But boy, yesterday morning we got a big, it looked like a snow on the garage roof and so forth. So maybe fall has just made a one big fast drop in on us there. And okay, Brian, on the Antique Festival there at Liberty, but I hate to miss it. I've never been to it myself. It seems like it slips up on me, and I never see it. I go through Liberty every once in a while, and I'll see the sign, and dad burn, it's already passed. They must advertise it really kind of close in. I'm not but about 8 miles away. And then we go down there on occasions to the grocery store there versus going to Siler City. But I hate I missed it, the Antique Festival there, but I never have been to it. I understand it's quite a thing to see. I don't know whether you've been to it yourself or not. But and Steve, okay, on the HT20, yeah, I guess that's probably about translate about kind of like a equivalent to a Viking 2 or maybe a 32 V1 2 or 3 series transmitter, I suppose. I forgot what was in the final. I think that you said, or I saw it. It was like a 4D32, or maybe it's kind of 6146s. I don't know. But I do remember when that transmitter kind of came out, and I never did see one in real life. I always saw a picture of it, and the pictures you sent out years back, a few years back, not that far back, about the HT20, but it had the unique tuning of the rotary inductor gang with the tuning capacitor gang together like the Viking 2, which is kind of a unique thing. I always thought that was unique only to the Johnson equipment, but I guess there are other people who tried it too. I think that's the way it works. But anyway, won't believe that. I'm going to go ahead and sign on this and listen a while, Glenn. Look like signals are starting to changed around now. They've gotten real long skip. But I'd classify you as a long skip, but you were kind of down in the soup that time. So go ahead and sign me out, and maybe see some of you fellas on the CW net tomorrow night. Anyway, with that, I'll pass it on over to Steve there, and you have a good one there, and take care of that good equipment you got there. KD3HT to take it. WHWT signing but listening. Over.
Okay, very good, Steve. KD3HT and the old military radio net. This is Brian, KN4R, in beautiful downtown Sherrilsport, North Carolina. Very good, Steve. I'm copying you just fine. You know, real nice signal. You know, the crazy thing is I'm not copying Kevin, GZQ, hardly at all, which is totally unlike the way it usually is. And I also could not copy Jeep. Paul was coming through well. Good morning, Paul. Chris, on the other hand, I had very little copy on him. And Steve is certainly not as strong as he normally is, but I am copying him. And let's see, I will comment. Gary, all I can say is my hat's off to you to take on a project like a 87% scale P51. That sounds like the house I restored one time. Took us 25 years to restore it, and the only reason why we got it finished was to sell it. So, but there is a local air show today. It's called Wings over Monroe, North Carolina, and I'm sure there'll be some P-51s out there. And we've been there in the past, but I'm not sure we're going to make the trek today. But anyway, sounds like a trip. I'll have to check your QRZ page and see if you've got any information there or pictures on your P-51. Steve, I brought back 2 receivers yesterday. One was a National NC-100. That's the kind of Art Deco looking one with a little bit of red on the front. Has a gray, typically a gray PW dial, HRO tuning dial, which was the 2nd generation dial. And circa 1937. I think it's possibly the first general coverage moving coil receiver National had, and the jewel was a National AGS, in the rack with all the coils, power supply, and the speaker is one of the earliest speakers. You know how they normally protect the speaker cones with a front grill. Well, this predated that, so I can't say the speaker's in very good shape. It looks like it's functional, but anyway, it always amazed me when I look at the early National pictures where they have the unprotected speaker cone up there. So anyway, I finally have one of those, which I've never had before. So anyway. That was it. Picked up a microphone, a Shure mic. I think it was a 444, and an SR, a Hallicrafters SR-160, I believe, no power supply. So anyway, I had a good day. I owe the kitty. Need to sell something to get square with my wife, but you know how that goes. So anyway, the band conditions are very strange. I'm copying Glenn just fine. Craig was way down that time, which is totally not like Craig here. So, but I'll hang in here another round and go get some more coffee. So, but I'm sure I'll be able to hear Perry. So take it away, Perry. W3MMR and the group KN4.
All right. Brian, KN4R in the old Miller Net. This is W3MMR. All right, real good, Brian. Well, I'm starting to lose the folks in close. Happens every net around every day around this time. Start to lose the guys up in New England and Pennsylvania and all the guys close. Craig started to fade, but Glenn was non-existent. Steve was non-existent. So, excuse me. Unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm going to make this my final and go ahead and listen out for the remainder and finish recording the rest of the net. So if anybody who can hear me and is interested in checking out today's net, seeing what you sound like here in Pennsylvania, or last week's net, and I think the week before's. I know last week's is definitely up there, but just search on YouTube the old military radio net and it'll pop up. So you should be able to find it, or you can search by the date, the old military radio net, 11/6/2021, or 10/29/2021, whatever the last one was, or the 31st or whatever it was. So anyway, just on the SDR this morning, the Ranger still broke down. DX100 isn't broke down, but it's just I've been being lazy and it's been too heavy to carry in the other room after work to put it on the bench. So when I could press a button with this SDR and go, I have a tendency of doing so, especially after work. Anyway, I wanted to say good morning to you, Gary, out in Wildwood, man. I didn't specifically say good morning to you, Gary. Great signal out this way, as always. It's always great to hear the man from Wildwood, Mizzou, K0VUW, not W. So, anyway, great to hear you, Gary. I'll send it back out to you. And if he's not there, I think it goes to you, Kevin. If you want to pick it up, KK4GZQ after Gary there. 7-3, guys. Have a fantastic day. Glenn, thanks for running the net. Do a fantastic job. And you guys have a great week. Stay warm. We'll catch you guys next time. K0VUW, the old military radio net. This is W3MMR standing by. 7-3 for now. Nada. Nothing heard or seen. I don't think anybody's transmitting.
Well, you certainly sound good into Kentucky. KD4U. Let me make sure I got this thing loaded correctly here. Yeah, that'll be close enough, I guess. Hey, good morning to you, Glenn. The rest of the guys on the old military radio net. Here it is, KD4UMU here in north central Kentucky. A little cool this morning, so I've been drifting around the bands a little bit, listening in, and seeing what all the chit-chats about around the 160 through 75 here. So anyway, Harry's got a nice big signal down here to Kentucky. And just commanding the band. And we'll do one more adjustment here. All right, that looks way better, way better. Yeah, I had to keep all of the internals happy as far as SWR and all of this equipment over here. So, hey, thank goodness for meters and everything else. And as you keep everything low reflected power, it means something's going out somewhere. But anyway, that's all we got. Just want to say good morning to everybody. And hearing, actually, the signals are pretty good into Kentucky here this morning. A little bit of a lightning static crash going on off the coast of Florida's east coast down there. But, outside of that, the band is pretty quiet. So with that, Glenn, we'll send it back to you. N1FNG from KD4UMU Dan in Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
heading up north. We talked about 25, almost 30 minutes here this morning. All right, let's go to Houston Whiskey Bravo 8, Delta Mike X-ray. You're next.
Nothing here in Kentucky.
WB4WCJ, KK1K, WB4WCJ.
It's so dark I can't tell whether it's overcast or going to be a clear day. Probably overcast. Back to you. WB4WCJ, KK1K.
KK1K, WB4WCJ. Wait, but you're readable here. Temperature about 45, probably 45 here, and been having a little bit of rain and wind, rain and wind. So it's to me, it's very nice here. Operating much less than ideal, having a partial failure of the AM in the ICOM IC765. Low failure with the AM in the radio here, but I have parts to repair it. I think I have the parts to repair it. I got that in yesterday. KK1K, good to take you here. WB4WCJ, over.
Well, nice signal from Hardyville. I'm glad that you've been able to work around your problem with your AM rate there. We're running at 3 here this morning and listening on the R390, and conditions are just not that good. So thanks so much for giving me a report. Down south, we're going to hang around for a few minutes, but not worth staying around too long here. It sounds like the band's pretty dead up here in New England. So thanks so much, and Good hearing your signal. It's been a while since we talked. WB4WCJ, this is KK1K.
Okay, real fine. Thanks for coming by. That's for sure. And also the signal report here. You're link bit readable. So KK1K, stay safe there. WB4WCJ, Old Hardyville.
Okay, thanks for the report. Your signal is pretty strong up here. Very nice copy. 73 KK1K. The November Gulf station.
Victor Echo 9, November Golf. The VE9 is good.
Okay, Victor Echo 9, November Golf. This is KK1K. Handle here is Dean Dog Easy Alpha Nance. And we were just hanging around looking for any participants in the old military radio net this morning, but the band is quite long. So, again, the handle is Dean Dog Easy Alpha Nan. We're located, probably 100 miles south of Montreal in the state of Vermont. We're located about 100 miles south of Montreal in the state of Vermont. VE9, November Gulf. This is kilowatt, 1 kilowatt.
Victor Echo 9, November Golf. Name here is Ken. Kilo Echo.
Okay, Ken, I didn't catch your QTH. Your 350 watts are doing fine here. We're putting out about 450 right now. Our remote here, running a military radio T368, and that's into a flat top antenna with it's about 45 feet up in the air. So that's the scoop on this end. Your 350 watts are doing a nice job. I missed your location there in Canada. If you could just repeat the city again.
We are in Brunswick, Canada. Nearly eastern Canada. And the Atlantic Canada on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, Ken. Well, I didn't get the city, but I did get you near the shores of the Atlantic Ocean here in Canada. So thanks so much for the report. Band conditions aren't the best. 73 to you. This is KK1K. Going to be clear with VE9 November Gulf, and KK1K is standing by for the old military radio net.
Okay.
How was she done?
I swear I was never going to live again.
Okay. How was she done?